Hey, it's Colleen.
Hi, it's Kate.
And it's Megan.
And we're the
Three Scheme Queens. Join us as we discuss popular hoaxes and give you our comedic take on what is fact and what is fiction. If you have a sense of humor and an open mind, come take this journey with us.
We'll tell you what we think, and we'll try to prove it to you.
Is this thing on?
Hey guys, how's it going? What's going on? What's new? Colleen, you're off. Where are you off to next?
New England again.
Oh, I'm gonna be road tripping to Kansas.
I am going to Nebraska.
We're all going to be in different spots.
Uh-huh.
It'll be interesting.
Yeah, well, Kansas is not far from Nebraska.
Please,
She's going to Missouri
please
Zoo.
use Atlas Obscura.
Okay.
Look up something fun for me.
Okay.
Maybe the giant paintballs out there.
In the meantime, while we're gone, guys, here's what you should do. Don't forget to check out our Facebook and Instagram pages at 3 Scheme Queens. That's the number 3 Scheme Queens, all one word. We're also on Reddit, same username. If you want to check out our website, go to 3schemequeens.com and you can find links to our social media accounts, our Buzzsprout page, all of our episodes, additional content, our contact page, and our discussion board where you can engage with us and share any updates on the topics that we have discussed. Let us know how we're doing and what you want to hear next. There are also opportunities to financially support us. There are links to buy us a cup of coffee, links to our recently updated merch store, and affiliate links. And as always, if you choose not to financially support us, we appreciate the follows, the downloads, listens, the likes. Kate,
What should the people do?
what should the
I'll
people
tell you
do?
what the people should do.
Uh-huh.
They should scroll on down, leave us a 5-star review, leave us a comment, share us on their Instagrams and their other social media platforms, share us on the group chat and the family. Just recommend us to a friend. And yeah, we appreciate all the likes and the listens and all the things, guys.
So is it time for our
Drink
Yeah, drink check.
What are we drinking today?
Oh, this is a themed drink, guys.
I love a themed drink.
Because today we are traveling back in time to Royal England.
I just cannot wait for this. What are we drinking?
English tea? Delish. And you know what? I even put a splash of milk in it to be authentic like the Brits. And
I'm
actually,
just gonna ask what you put in your tea.
We're
Pretty
drinking
tasty.
it with on my grandmother's china
Oh my goodness, it is
that she
stunning.
gave to me.
Oh,
Yeah, I love it.
I like my tea with a splash of cream and a spoonful of honey.
all we are missing are like some little finger Sammies.
Oh
Yeah.
my god, some like
should have
cream
made
cheese and
them, honestly.
cucumber.
Oh my gosh, I should have made some
Some little
cucumber
tuna,
snacks.
tuna sandwich.
Guys, I've actually been to high tea. Have you not been to
Oh,
high
I've been
tea?
to all the high teas.
Yeah, you gotta.
I
have
love
those
tea. I go to high
sandwiches.
tea every year at Christmas.
Yeah, we have
my-
to go
with
We have to take Kelly.
my
Yeah.
mom and my niece. And I mean, I've had high tea in South Africa. I've
Gotta have
had
the
high
sweet
tea in
stuff.
England. I hosted a high tea for Colleen, not this Colleen. I am a high tea connoisseur, and I gotta say, Kate, you
Good
killed it.
choice. Good choice, love.
I want to say that Megan gave me my little teapot that I made it in. So
Yeah, I
Yes,
love
because
high tea.
because when I had tea in South Africa, that's where I really learned about like loose tea is so much better.
It
Oh,
is,
so much
it's
more
just so much
flavorful.
better.
Yeah.
Please, sir. I want some more. Anyways, we're drinking some tea. Pour it in the ocean.
Yeah.
Pour it in the ocean. Okay, that's
No
my
taxation.
oh,
No taxation
Without
without
representation.
Yeah,
representation.
I'm a Yankee.
Yeah.
Kate, tell us, what are we talking about?
Like I said, we're drinking some high tea because we're going back to England to talk about Queen Elizabeth I, not to be confused with the Queen Elizabeth that just passed away, RIP. We're talking about Queen Elizabeth today because, guys, did you know she could have been a man? Yeah. Interesting, right?
Why do we think she could have been a man?
Oh, that's such a good question. Let me answer this for you.
Okay. Do we have
Let
an
me-
intro?
That was it. That was my intro. You guys know who Queen Elizabeth is. Okay. So let me tell you guys a little bit about Queen Elizabeth. Queen Elizabeth I is the last of the Tudor monarchy in Old England. She lived from 1533 to 1603 when she died when she was 69 years old, and she reigned for 45 years in England. She was the daughter of the infamous King Henry VIII. You guys know who King Henry VIII is?
Yep.
With
Yeah.
6 wives?
Yep.
Wait, she was his daughter?
One of them.
She was his daughter. She was. So yeah, King Henry VIII beheaded his wife, one of his wives. You know. She was known for being the virgin.
More than one.
More than one, right? Yeah.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Okay.
She was known for being the Virgin Queen because she never took a husband and instead pledged herself to the service of England. And during her reign, she restored England to the Protestant Church. She executed the Queen of the Scots, Mary Stuart, and led the country to defeat against the Spanish Armada.
Yeah.
But was Queen Elizabeth really the Virgin Queen? Did she really die at the age of 69? Or was it an impostor put forth to continue the Tudor dynasty?
I'm sorry, you just referenced Mary, Queen of Scots. That's who she executed?
Mm-hmm.
Well, I'm familiar with her because of Reign,
Yeah.
the TV show.
Yeah, I've never watched Reign either.
Oh, it's a soap opera.
Yeah. It was on the CW.
CW.
So in 1542, Princess Elizabeth was living at Overcourt House, which was outside of the royal palace in London near the village Bisley in the Cotswolds, which, side note, I really want to visit the Cotswolds. I feel like you would love the
Oh,
Cotswolds.
I've seen a lot of TikToks for them.
It's just like so quaint.
It's so cute. That's like my favorite era too.
Yeah. Anyway, a plague had broken out across London, and in a protective mood, the princess and her companions were told to seek refuge in this Overcourt house until it was safe for her to return. But the conspiracy theory goes that Princess Elizabeth became sick with a fever as she approached 9 years old, and she ultimately died. And panicking, the governess, Lady Catherine, buried her secretly on the grounds of Overcourt. And after a hunt for a female to impersonate the late princess, Lady Catherine actually found a boy with red hair who looked impeccably like Elizabeth
Oh.
in the village of Bisley and chose him. So the legend goes that Lady Catherine was terrified of the infamous King Henry VIII, which you know he was a little cray-cray, and didn't want him to know that his daughter had died. And so from this day forth, this red-haired boy went on to become one of England's most beloved monarchs, Queen Elizabeth I. So what do you guys think? You believe it?
I mean, I don't really buy it, but
Are there any? Well, there's no pictures.
They're all paintings.
I mean, what benefit would they have of a little boy?
well, it's more about maintaining
maintaining
control
the
of the monarchy.
You're telling me they couldn't have found a gingered girl?
Well,
I mean,
because they were a small
trying
village.
she was Lady Catherine, her governess, was trying to
Desperately.
cover up the death
Oh.
because she was afraid of King Henry. So she found someone.
Oh, I just thought they all
Oh.
conspired to like maintain control, but
Like,
this was
she
all the
doesn't
governess
listen at
covering
all.
her.
It's part of it.
Based on the fact that King Henry killed literally all his wives, I'd be terrified too.
Yeah,
I'd find a little kid too.
yeah.
Like, you'd be done. You'd be
Mhm.
killed.
Hmm.
He was
So
confident
it's
in
sounding like
success.
you guys don't know much about this, and you
I just have never heard it, so that's
you
what.
sort of believe it.
I could see it.
Of course you.
I mean, he killed everybody.
Yeah,
He
was
probably
he was
yeah.
crazy.
But and also, I don't believe he would know his own daughter.
Yeah, he had a lot of kids.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I can't believe he would. So since I misinterpreted your initial summary and I thought this was like all like, let's keep the monarchy. But if you're telling me it was all for the governess to not get killed, then yeah. I mean, even if you can fool everyone else, you really can fool like the
Yeah,
king.
yeah.
I don't know about that. What I really want to know is where, like, who started this? Like, where?
Yeah,
this
where
theory
did it
originated.
derive
I'm
from?
so happy you guys asked me that.
Yo, you're welcome. You're
Yeah.
welcome.
Okay. I will talk about that in a little bit. Okay. But first, let's talk about the Queen Elizabeth.
Did she have a nickname?
Not in anything that I read, but I personally would like to call her Bess.
Oh, because Lilibet came from one of them too, right? That's why Harry.
Lilibet came from Elizabeth II
Oh, it wasn't.
her
and
nickname.
that was her own nickname. Oh, okay.
because he had a special bond. Harry had a special bond with his
I
late
know he did.
grandmother
I low-key like the name Lilibet.
Harry
before he,
Team Megan.
defected.
ruined the
Megan.
entire royal family. Team Kate over here.
Yeah, Team Kate. Speaking of, have we seen her?
Yeah,
Exactly.
she just finished her chemo.
Okay.
They released a whole video, and it was like a kind of moving, beautiful.
It looked real,
montage.
and her hands look normal, so not AI.
Okay. All right.
But she looked sick.
Oh, I need to Google it.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's like her and the kids and William kind of like just like playing, and she's a little voiceover.
So Queen Elizabeth was the daughter of King Henry VIII and second wife Anne Boleyn. What do you think happened to his first wife?
Killed her.
What do you think, Maggie?
I mean, if I could think of the song.
He just divorced her. He married like his brother's wife. After he passed.
Oh, this is the Tudor.
It wasn't cool to marry his brother's wife. Okay. So that's why divorce.
He just was
didn't
like-
had the first one.
He just like change a heart. This move
Well,
I
this
made
is
that was
when
douchey.
The
is douchey,
Protestant
and so now I'm
Church
gonna.
was created, wasn't it? 'cause
no,
he-
it's not when the Protestant church was created. It just
Oh.
the Protestant and like during her reign, England was like Roman Catholic, and she brought back Protestantism.
I thought. Oh, really?
She
I
like
thought
married the
Protestantism
two.
Was created then because that's how he was allowed to divorce her.
No.
Really?
No.
Okay.
So yeah, King Henry VIII reminds me a lot of like a Targaryen
Mhm.
who just like thinks that, he can just do whatever he wants and do it for the kingdom because he's just like the best.
Mhm.
Facts.
Targaryen vibes. Real Daemon
Well, I
Targaryen,
feel like
if you will.
he was the inspiration, wasn't he?
I don't know.
It
That's a
gives
good
me Mormon prophet vibes that like
oh,
they do whatever they want and
'Cause
it's
they're in the
okay
man's
because it's all for like
God.
the church and God, and so any murder or anything it's
Oh
like,
yeah.
it doesn't count because you were the all-powerful prophet and you're doing it for
I mean, he does, and nothing counts because he's the king, right?
Yeah.
So he's literally
Just
the
saying.
law.
He could kill any of them at any
Yeah.
moment.
well then he did. I'm trying to think of the song right now because it's
Aragon. Dun-dun-dun-dun-dun.
Okay. Anyway, Queen Elizabeth, she, I guess, as a princess, she was a serious child, and she was actually schooled by like teachers and tutors that like typically would only school male heirs, but they chose to school her. And then she was fluent in 7 languages, which included English, Welsh, Greek, Latin, Spanish, French, and Italian.
That's great.
he was fluent in Latin.
Yeah.
I always wonder because people don't speak Latin, right?
No, they just
Mhm.
Read
well, the old church would read
in Latin.
everything was like in Latin in the old church, right?
And yeah,
But she could read it.
you can go to a Latin mass now if you wanted to.
Yeah.
I always thought people who took Latin in high school like didn't have to speak it.
Oh, I took Latin in high school.
Did
my
you,
senior
did you
year.
speak?
You can speak it, but it's mostly just written language.
You just be like, think of how smart I could be, you know?
Isn't
I
Latin
would
like
know the root of every word.
we don't?
I would kill
I was gonna
Jeopardy.
say, yeah, the Latin really helped me with the SATs. You know,
Mhm.
Is
she
it?
also at the end of her life was learning how to speak German.
Oh,
She's a scholar.
isn't Latin like we don't actually know how it sounds
No, I don't think so.
because it's a dead language, and it's all just like
I don't know.
Theory?
A lot of part of learning the language of Latin was learning the different sounds
the
of it.
theory.
Yeah.
Interesting. She knew a lot.
I know. I'm like, in researching, I was just like, this lady is just so cool. Okay, so she was a prisoner during her half sister Queen Mary's the first reign.
Like that's the one the show's after. Lady Jane. Guys, the show was actually good. I'm sad it got canceled.
Yeah, she's the niece of great niece of Henry VIII.
Great niece, so she didn't live in the same time.
So I was I was one generation off.
Okay.
Plus, like,
16 when she died. She's older than 16 in the show.
How'd she die?
Oh well, that's so apparently she got. Oh, the story is so the show is like what if
she
history
didn't
was
die.
different?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
But in real life, she was like appointed queen for like 6 days or something, right?
Yeah, and then was
And then she was
called a
executed
traitor
for
or
being a
something.
traitor
Yeah.
because she took the throne.
Oh.
And so she and her husband were executed. Oh, Lord, that Dudley died with her, huh?
Oh, we'll never know.
And then the successor was Mary the First. Predecessor, Edward the Sixth. Successor, Mary the First. I don't know. Anyway, proceed. Okay.
This happened during Wyatt's rebellion, which was very unsuccessful, and this was a short revolt of Sir Thomas Wyatt and his 4 friends. He planned to mutiny the Queen Mary for her marriage to the Spanish king Philip II, and he feared that this would end up in the return of England to the Catholic Church. He was then hung in the 1544 for his crimes. Queen Mary died from an unknown illness, though it is theorized to be cancer, in 1558 at the age of 45. And then Queen Elizabeth I ascended the throne in her stead and became queen at 25 years old, which I just think is wild that she was 20 years younger than her sister.
Also,
Well, Henry VIII
well,
got around.
Um,
Henry VIII times, you know what I mean?
I don't, because I know nothing about
Oh my
ancient England.
God.
You guys know a lot.
We love period pieces.
I am surprised, but I wouldn't say we know a lot based on this, trying to figure out what
Yeah.
generation is what. But I'm surprised that cancer was like a thing, really.
I know.
No way they called it cancer back
No, they
then.
didn't call it cancer, but people,
Now,
because it
now
was like
looking
a,
back, they're like, that's
They're
probably
like,
what it was.
oh,
Yeah.
Satan. She's got the Satan.
well,
you
it's
know?
like, who was it that,
I cannot
in
find
Bridgerton, the
James
Mad
Rose.
King? What's his name?
Oh God. George
Yeah, King
George.
George.
Who is also the king in
in Hamilton.
Alexander Hamilton.
Yeah. He was like, he's thought to have
When I
had
was
like
10.
bipolar or like some sort of like
Schizophrenia, I thought.
grandiosity.
I
Yeah.
thought schizophrenia. Yeah.
Yeah, just eat some Egyptian mummies, and get on with your day.
Literally, dumb Brits.
So her accession was met with excitement. She surrounded herself with wise men in her cabinet, including William Cecil and Francis Walsingham. However, she continued to be the last one to make the decisions when it came to her court. And though many suitors came forward, Queen Elizabeth I chose not to marry.
I'm gonna say my theory.
She's a lesbian.
Yeah, it's a common theory.
No, that's
Was she a man? No, she was a butch.
that's often Colleen's
Let
theory.
her be. Yeah, probably what it was. Never married, surrounded by men.
But
She was trying to deny her identity.
But I also kind of feel like
No, I mean,
I kind of feel like you could. I feel like it'd probably be pretty easy to be a lesbian back in the day because like you don't even sleep in the same room.
Yeah.
You could just hook up with your maid.
Yeah.
I guess, but I just meant like I feel like just because you're married doesn't mean you necessarily have to like.
I mean, the rumors are pretty, like, there's like no rumors that like she didn't take any lovers, like none.
Are you saying
Like,
you're saying
all of
she,
her-
Or the
she-
girls kept their mouth shut.
there were no rumors of lovers. She was
There was-
abstinent to your
Yeah,
knowledge.
that's why she's called the Virgin Queen. That is what she's called, because she never took any lovers, she never had any men, or she never got married. Like that is the clean slate. I know you want to think she's a lesbian, but maybe sometimes people just are pure.
Or she's really good at hiding it.
Do you think that
She could have been asexual too.
is this like where it came from then? Like people were like, well, if she didn't have a man, then she must have been a man.
Okay, so yeah, so because she was so look back at her. She was basically set up for succession as she ascended the throne, right? Her parents schooled her like in things that women did not usually learn at the time. She as soon as she got in, she surrounded herself with wise people of the time. She led England against the Spanish Armada and won. And because she was like so, shrewd in court, and, she kind of brought Protestantism back to England. The Roman Catholics are the ones that started this rumor. They said that obviously because she chose not to marry and she didn't take any lovers and she didn't mother any children, she was clearly a man. And she was a man because nobody wanted it to get out, right? She was often made fun of for her manly features, and she was often critiqued again for her shrewd rule. Surely a woman could not rule as successfully as a man. There's no evidence that she took a lover, let alone marry, and that's why the rumors started flying that she was a man.
So then did somebody go back and say, how did they just pick this random swap time?
that I think people, because she was hidden away and she got this fever, and people started like theorizing like, oh, okay, so this is the time. If there was any time that she could have been switched out, it would
That
have
was
been
it.
this time. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So that's really it. There's like no part of the, conspiracy theory that's like actually real. It's just something that, I think the Catholics were
Okay.
just mad. But she was involved with a scandal. Yeah. Okay. So though she didn't take many lovers, she had a very close companion named Robert Dudley. He was the first Earl of Leicester.
Wait.
You just said something about it, Dudley.
Dudley is who Lady Jane Grey marries.
Yeah, the horse guy.
Yeah. Well,
Who's
that's
horse?
it's a little it's a little sci-fi in
Yeah.
the sense that there's some like shape shifting,
Oh, okay.
which is obviously not real. But wait,
If they didn't have that, it probably wouldn't have got canceled.
Dudley.
In my opinion, the
Could've just kept
sci-fi,
the sci-fi part
yeah,
out of it.
should have just kept it a period piece.
But that's what made them. That was like the issue. Was like,
That was the
could she love a man who
Who
was
was
a
a
horse
horse.
by night?
He was
Or
literally
horse by
it was like-
day.
it was literally like Shrek. Like she's like
That is so
at
corny.
night turns into an ogre, except
Oh,
during the
what year-
day he turned into a horse.
That is so weird.
What year are we talking about here?
1500s.
Is
Yeah.
it 1560s maybe.
Okay,
Dudley was a
Lord
horse.
Guildford Dudley,
She marries him.
Robert Dudley, and Guildford Dudley were brothers.
Whoa.
2 of the 13 children of John Dudley, Earl of Warwick, and Jane Guildford.
Look at that.
Look at that. It all comes together.
Full circle. So Robert Dudley was one of her favorite people and one of Elizabeth's leading statesmen. He was involved with domestic and foreign politics. And though there are rumors that she turned his hand down to marry, she was not romantic with him. However, after the suspicious and untimely death of his wife, she became one of the prime suspects.
Interesting.
Yeah. So his wife, Amy, suffered a broken neck, or so the coroner's report said.
A casual broken
It
neck.
said that she fell down the stairs. However, there were only 8 steps that she fell down.
You can break a neck with 8 steps.
However, when she was found, her bonnet was still sitting perfectly on her head.
They thinking she died not of a broken neck?
Well, that's what the coroner said.
Mm.
It didn't take long for the rumors to fly because Robert's living chambers were like directly next to the Queen's, and there was already like a lot of gossip. Like this is inappropriate. This is too
Their
intimate.
rooms are too close to each
Their
other.
rooms are too close to each other.
Interesting.
So the court was like disgruntled already about this relationship.
I would also argue I know we researched in the past, autopsies have been happening for millennia, really,
Yeah.
right? I don't want to sound like Colleen and be like, no one was smart before. Like, how good were these autopsies?
I
you
mean,
know?
also like there's no cameras, there's no fingerprinting. Like it's very easy to get it.
And I'm sure that people were like, death by, too much sunshine. I just feel like there was probably like weird cause of deaths
Yeah,
because they were into, right? Again, they were into weird
it was always a fever.
diagnoses.
Yeah,
Yeah.
or just like they've just bled them.
Yeah.
But they didn't bleed out. So it also seemed suspicious that apparently on the day his wife died, Amy had sent her servants to a festival where it was taking place all day. So no witnesses. Mm-hmm.
What I would like to know is, did Amy send her ladies away?
So she could herself.
Or did like her husband send the ladies away?
Oh, yeah,
Or
yeah, yeah.
like the queen, yes, like
And they
that.
just like gently suggested it.
Yeah, I want more information. But,
Yeah. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Everyone wants more information about this. And then there was also a rumor that in a letter to the Spanish ambassador, the Queen's secretary, William Cecil, I talked about him earlier, who's part of her cabinet, wrote that he thought Robert and Elizabeth were scheming to kill Amy. He allegedly claimed in the letter that the Queen had informed Cecil that Amy was, quote, dead or nearly so, end quote. However, despite all of these rumors, there is no evidence, and it remains a mystery that has never been solved to this day.
It seems like if they were really behind this, They would have gotten married.
Yeah, I don't really like maybe he was like super unhappy and she was like, "You're my guy, so we're gonna do this." But like I also because like he was her favorite. Like that is what is written about him. He was her favorite. Favorite what? Not sure.
If we believe that there was some kind of affair happening here and she loved him, right? Or even if we just believe she loved him, okay? Like what is her incentive to remain a virgin queen? Like it seems like she probably, it's not fair, but probably actually would have gotten respect, right? If she
Oh yeah, if she had a
did her
husband.
womanly duty, married the man,
Well, she probably
had
would
some
have.
kids.
He would have become king, and she would have lost
No,
her.
king consort.
Even then.
I think so.
Yeah, well,
I
like
know that
like
from,
Dudley
Game of Thrones.
and
Yeah.
Lady Jane Grey.
Yeah,
Dudley wasn't going to become the king.
that's true. That's true. I didn't think about that.
Yeah, it's king consort.
What was your reference?
There was something else
Game of
going.
Thrones?
Game of Thrones, House of the Dragon.
Yeah.
She had to.
Rhaenyra, the true queen. Shout out to all my Hot D fans.
She had to have been hiding something else. Like there had to have been something else going on.
Team Black.
Yeah, I don't believe, I have no evidence to prove she was a man disguised as a
No.
woman.
Oh yeah, I don't think.
I
That's
do find I find your rabbit hole murder mystery much more
Much
interesting.
more interesting, right?
This is why we like
Yeah.
period pieces. Welcome to the
That's
club.
why we like true crime.
And
You're
to
checking all our boxes right now, Kate.
I'm like, what was the drama in the court?
I know there was so much drama. I was
Did
like,
he
I
see
love
her
this.
ankle?
Did he touch her hand?
Oh my god! And then clench his hand.
Oh.
Like in Pride and Prejudice.
Yeah, my favorite.
That is
movie.
actually, that's like the scene. In Bridgerton too, he does that, right?
Yeah, I
Yeah.
know.
References the 8 steps that she fell.
Uh-huh.
Her interior steps.
Interior step.
So not like wet or anything.
No.
How quickly did she die? Is what I want to know. Like,
Well, they
snap her
found her,
neck.
apparently.
Somebody yanked her down those.
Somebody yeeted her.
Somebody was mad.
But okay, so in rebuttal to Colleen's, this is just like 2 more interesting facts. In rebuttal to Colleen's, she was a lesbian or was asexual. She did almost marry.
Almost.
She nearly married Thomas Seymour. He was the ex-husband of her father's final wife, which was
Tracking.
Catherine Parr.
I'm tracking here. Also, though, I didn't know there was quite so much divorce back then.
Yeah, me neither.
was a
I think King Henry just did whatever he
Wait,
wanted.
then who the
Yeah, but
heck
like this
was-
guy's not the king and he's getting divorced. Oh, but if he wanted to marry her,
Or-
maybe he like blessed the divorce so that he
Or
could,
or he was widowed. It doesn't say what happened to his wife.
no, he said his
Ex-husband
he said
of her
his-
father's oh yeah,
yeah.
ex-husband of her.
So maybe the
father's.
king was like, I grant a divorce because I want to marry
He
you.
married
That's
2
apparently
Catherines, too.
that to me when I was reading this, I was like, he definitely was like, I want to marry your wife.
Mm-hmm.
I'm gonna pay you a lot of money.
He married a lot of people.
Yeah.
I know.
Catherine of Aragon,
6
Anne
again.
Boleyn, Jane Seymour, Anne of Cleve, Catherine Howard, and Catherine Parr. But she had to have been related to Jane Seymour.
No, I think that the problem too, all these names,
They're
they
all
have the
cousins.
same
Yeah.
names, and it's
Yeah.
hard to figure
It's
out
like
who's.
of the ton, you know? They all have they're
Yeah.
all
And they're all
intermarried.
cousins. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like
And then I can't figure out.
Alabama blood run deep.
Yeah. And then, like you said, these siblings are like 40 years apart. So trying to figure out like which generation is which generation. is
Right.
very confusing.
Anyway, the
Wait.
King Henry said nope, and he executed on this guy. He was like, "You are not marrying my daughter." So he
we got
executed him.
distracted with the story. Okay.
Well, maybe
whoa,
she.
whoa, 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 whoa.
Yeah,
So to summarize,
yeah,
Henry says, I want to marry your wife.
yeah.
So whatever. I'll pay you. I'll grant a divorce, whatever. And then he's like, that's cool because I want to marry your daughter. And Henry's like,
Nope.
no,
Yeah.
you're done.
And then he yeeted his head.
Oh my gosh.
Maybe Elizabeth was just too much of like a daddy's girl and like could never marry because of Henry. Like it sounds like the theme is
Or
Henry.
maybe she was
Yeah,
traumatized.
she's a child of divorce.
Yeah,
I
and
mean,
like
divorce. I
he
feel like,
killed every spouse.
yeah, I feel like I'd be like, wait,
except for one.
this is
Marriage.
how a husband can treat you.
Yeah.
I'm not trying to get killed because I can't provide a
Man,
child.
heir, yeah.
Yeah, that'd be enough. I think if my dad was Henry VIII, that would be enough for me to be like, I think
I'm
done.
good.
I think
Yeah.
I'm good being the
A
say
40-year-old
wife.
virgin.
I wouldn't say virgin wife, but I think I'm good just, being a spinster.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So that was the closest she ever married. I think that was there was nothing that said she didn't want to marry him in that one. Philip II of Spain, which was her late sister's Mary's husband, after Mary died, proposed to Elizabeth.
Oh my God. So all the people around her sounds like we're just in
Messy.
love with her.
Yeah.
But she
Or at
sounds
least wanted to be the king
uninteresting.
consort.
Yeah, they wanted to be the king consort. What?
She sounds uninteresting though, other than the language thing.
Are you kidding me? She's so interesting.
She maybe just murdered her lover's wife.
That's true. I
She was like,
guess.
she was smart.
She brought a whole religion.
You're
Yeah.
right. You're right.
Sorry, uninteresting.
I
I'm
don't know.
offended for her. I am pro Queen Elizabeth #1. And anyway, so they like Mary and Philip were cousins. That's just like a fun fact. And
Wait,
Elizabeth,
is someone who wanted to marry her.
and then he wanted to marry. So Mary was her sister. She died, and he was like, "Wow, we can get married."
Okay.
And she said no. She was like, "No, I'm not doing that."
So he was her
my-
cousin. So he was her cousin too. Then.
Well, no, because they were half siblings.
Oh,
Mary was a half
okay.
sibling.
There's some.
Yeah, very confusing. King Henry,
Yeah,
the 8th.
yeah,
He's just,
yeah. Okay.
Taking all the wives.
We're gonna have to post to Instagram
We need like a tour of the family.
the
freaking
family
tree.
tree.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
With,
It's
like,
very confusing.
Arrows connecting nieces, uncles, cousins, and wives.
Again, it's just giving like Targaryen, especially between like all the cousins and the
Mhm.
siblings, and they wanted to keep the dragon blood pure.
Mhm.
Anyway, that's it.
So
That's all we got. That's all she wrote about. Well, there's much more about
Yeah, it
Queen
goes on for
Elizabeth. She's so
decades, yeah.
interesting, but she did end the Tudor reign in Old England. So
yeah, so she died. You said at a ripe old age.
69.
Um,
You know what? She's probably like,
Pretty
I ain't gotta
old.
worry about. Yeah, pretty old
Pretty
for
old
that
for the
time.
1500s.
Did not
I mean-
worry about no man.
triple the lifespan of an Egyptian.
Yeah.
Whoa.
And what happened after her? Then who became the?
The Tudor reign. Because it goes from Henry's reign to James Tudor to James Stuart, which then starts the Stuart tree, which then starts the Hanover tree,
Okay.
which then goes to the
James-
Windsor.
Okay. So in 1603, James VI succeeded to the English throne after the death of his cousin Elizabeth I, who had no direct heirs. As the new James I of England, he rode south and was to spend almost the entire life in England, based at Whitehall. He is thus known as James VI and the First.
And then it goes to the Stuart
James the
tree.
sixth and the first. That's again. Can
Oh,
we get?
he's from Scotland.
Can we get a little more confusing?
So apparently James the Sixth was Elizabeth's first cousin twice removed, whatever the heck that means.
Of any relation to Mary, Queen of Scott? We don't know. It doesn't.
Is Mary Queen of Scott Mary Stuart?
Yes, Stuart.
Yes.
It's his mom.
Oh, ooh, that's kind of karma. So
Oh,
she
but it
kills.
says that right there. Was the son of Mary Queen.
So she kills his mom,
Yeah.
Whoa.
and she dies, and
Yeah, but
They're
it's
like,
69.
jokes on you, or I'm her son,
Oh,
and now
And
I'm
then
gonna take over.
it goes James, Charles William, George, the one from the Revolutionary War.
Georgie.
You'll be back. That one.
Yeah.
Time will tell.
And soon
You'll
enough,
remember that I served you well.
But you guys, if you look up the Windsor tree, which is like our current royalty or whatever, like the queen who just died,
We're current royalty. It's not ours. It's England's.
well, our stepmoms, current royalty, she was so freaking old.
Yeah,
Like, and
she
her
was like, wasn't she
parents-
the oldest reigning monarch?
Yeah, and her parents were old. So there's really like not
How can her
much-
parents be old? Because she was 24 when she took over as queen. Didn't her dad die young?
Well, they had her old. Do you know what I mean? Like there's not much royal crowns being passed between the two of them compared to like up here where there's like four.
Well, yeah. Also, back then, there was like no medicine.
Yeah. People live
Yeah.
People are just living longer.
And
Yeah.
didn't Queen Elizabeth's II's dad had a lot of health issues. He had a pneumonectomy.
Oh,
Well, he still reigned for a while.
Ugh,
1895 to
pneumonectomy.
1952.
Oh.
Or he lived that long.
18 what?
He lived, excuse me, I don't know how long he reigned for. Lived from 1895 to 1952.
That's not that long. It's like 60 years.
And she did 1926 to 2022.
She took over before he died? No, that's when she was born, was 26.
Yeah.
Okay, we're really mixing up
Sorry.
coronation dates and
Yeah.
birth dates.
But like,
Coronation Day.
there's a lot of drama when you read about it. Do
You
you
can get
watch The
that-
Crown? You guys watch The Crown?
I have not watched.
I
it.
watched like one
The
season.
Crown makes it make so much more sense.
What I got away from The
Traumatized.
Crown is that Prince Philip
Based on truth.
Prince Philip was maybe not quite as nice
Prince
to,
Philip was awful.
even though
Vampire?
he comes out as being like such a supportive husband,
I
but
mean, the vampire.
on The Crown, not so much. I also heard Meghan Markle. This is just an Instagram, so
Yeah.
no proof, okay? But that apparently, like the casting director claims that Meghan Markle is constantly reaching out, asking to play herself on The Crown.
Of course she is. I'm not surprised.
Yeah,
Meghan.
Like if that is true, I'm not surprised.
uh-huh.
Then she also makes statements about only ever wanting to be a mom.
Well, yeah, isn't that what she would?
Manipulation.
Yeah, she's a actress. She knows how to manipulate. She knows how to manipulate Harry. You know, I just keep
You
thinking
mean
about.
the son who was writing about his penis?
I just keep thinking about.
He had problems, guys. It's not
Okay.
Megan's. Megan didn't start.
But
his
Harry,
problems.
William, and Kate were biffles, and then I think about this too. That like,
Oh, you mean William, the man who cheats?
okay, but listen,
None of them are perfect.
Kate
Why
just
can't we all
went through
just accept that?
chemotherapy for 9 months for cancer. I feel like if anything's enough to be like, let's meet and try to like work through these issues,
Yeah.
it would be
Someone
like
getting-
someone you were very close to,
Well,
your family member for decades.
when you choose to go no
dying.
contact, that's a huge thing, right? So I don't know. I'm sure there's more to it.
Yeah, you know what there is to it? His manipulative wife. Did you watch the Netflix special?
The one where he talked about his penis.
No, that's his
No, that's
book.
the book. But then there was a Netflix special that they did to make all this money, and she was so annoying in it. That's where she made fun of having to bow to the queen, first of all, and he looked so uncomfortable. That was like the famous clip.
Yeah.
And then there's a scene where like he's like, "Oh, my brother just texted me," and she's like, "Listen, it's your family. I wouldn't talk to him." She's like just so obnoxious about the whole thing, and then that's when she also goes like, "Oh, Beyonce just texted me," and then people were like, "Beyonce doesn't even know Meg." Like we are team.
We're Team Megan. I'm Team
Yeah,
Megan.
the two of
We're
you
Team
are Team
Kate.
Megan.
Oh yeah, sorry.
Your team,
Team
Megan.
Kate. Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't understand why you're Team Megan.
Because she's of the generation where it's like somebody's
That's
feeling
not
for
wrong.
her.
Well, they are very racist.
Somebody-
The country and like the public and how they write about Megan is very fucked up.
Anyhow.
All right, take away. So, Colleen,
man.
are you buying it?
Not a man.
Not a man.
Maybe a lesbian.
Did she? side thought. Did she murder
Oh,
her lovers?
somebody murdered that lady.
I think if I'm gonna say anybody, it was probably the husband. He probably murdered her. He was probably just in love with Queen Elizabeth and was
Elizabeth.
like, I just can't deal with this lady anymore. She was probably, on to him and causing all this trouble, and he was probably like, you know what? I'm done with you, lady. I'll push you
Well,
downstairs.
then that's
He was probably like, send your servants away. I'll come to you in your
And then he
quarters.
yanked her down the stairs.
Yeah.
poor. Oh,
Yeet.
poor Elizabeth. Then now hundreds of years later, taking the blame for
I know.
maybe murdering.
Just the Virgin Queen.
Yeah, she's trying to live her life.
Yeah.
I don't know. I think she was just too smart. Like, I think she got away with things without people even realizing because she was so smart.
This is just like when Colleen.
Except when Colleen said she was boring.
It's just like when Colleen said, "I don't know who Tupac is, but I bet he would be a theater kid."
Yeah.
And now you're like, we don't know who Queen Elizabeth I is, but
Smart.
you had a real firm opinion for someone who didn't know anything about Queen
I know.
Elizabeth.
I mean, there was also like no cameras, no social
Yeah, but
media.
people,
Well, I always think about-
there was gossip.
Yeah.
Gossip was real
Well,
back
like-
then.
I know, but I
they
do
did-
think about even like in the 70s, like okay, like the Golden State Killer. He was just getting away with it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And that was only 50
50
years
years
ago.
ago, yeah.
That's a long time.
Or we think about the like
I was thinking
what's
about
the British
Jack the
one?
Ripper.
Jack the Ripper.
Yeah.
That wasn't that long. What, 100 years ago?
Yeah.
Is that right?
You
I'm
can, get
guessing.
away, you can get away with stuff.
Yeah.
Murder, sex.
Rock and roll.
Drugs. All right. Well, that was an interesting, lighthearted one. Thank you, Kate.
Yeah.
What should everyone do?
Yeah. Scroll on down. Leave us a 5-star review. Send us to your friends and family. Share us on your Instagram and your other social media accounts. And yeah, come back next week to listen to us, guys.
Yeah.
See you
ya
next Tuesday.
next
See ya then.
next Tuesday.